Greetings from World University and School on Monday, February 9th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. I think it's 10:30 p.m. India time. I think it's about 1 p.m. in the morning next 1 a.m. in the morning the next day, Hong Kong time. Please join this open World University and School weekly business meeting, loosely conducted in the manner of unprogrammed friends, Quakers, and open to people from all 24 time zones around the world. Building on as World University and School grows free online degrees from home in each country's main and official languages, and building on MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages and Yale courses, and also Wiki schools in all 7,159 known living languages for people to people, Wiki teaching and Wiki learning, and building communities of people as well among speakers of all these 7,159 known living languages. So as we wait to see if people will join this open WUAS news and question and answer, this weekly business meeting, I'd like to share a few items with you. Dear World University and School community, Universitians, Peter Norvig, Google AI Director, and Stanford Distinguished Education Fellow, and Stanford Law Codex, Executive Director Roland Vogel, all. Glad to have begun updating World University and Schools beginning homepage after some years. And that URL is worlduniversityandschool.org. And in seeking to develop, potentially with the hashtag Grow with Google, WUAS, hashtags in LinkedIn and on Twitter X. And in seeking to develop, potentially with Grow with Google WUAS, a way for prospective WUAS students to begin to express their interest in applying and matriculating. So as WUAS proceeds with accreditation and in a Grow with Google WUAS program, you will be able to apply and matriculate via you at World University. And that wiki page right now is wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/you at World University. And probably via interoperably World University and School's Google Workplace for Education, with that URL being admin.google.com, which I have access to in some way. Peter Norvig, how to begin to code this. Also, as I've been updating worlduniversityandschool.org, newly with FileZilla, FTP, File Transfer Protocol, a free downloading program that you can build websites with as well. And also with the CMonkey project, a free WYSIWYG HTML editor. I haven't been yet able to update the PayPal donate link on the PayPal side that's been on worlduniversityandschool.org for some years, hoping to get to that this week. Greetings from World University and School, building on CC4 MIT OCW in 7 languages, opencw.apprende.org, and Wikipedia, Wikidata, in 342 active languages, approximately. World University and School continues to plan online free-to-students bachelor, PhD, law, MD, Ivy High School, similar, AA, AS, and master's degrees. in each of all 200 countries and in their main languages, and as WUAS proceeds with accreditation, and in a Grow with Google WUAS program too. World University and School's open WUAS weekly business meeting, news and question and answer, meet on Mondays. So next today, February 9th, at 9 a.m. Mexico City time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, 10:30 p.m. India Time, 1 a.m. Tuesday the next day, Hong Kong time. But please check your time converter from any of your 24 time zones. So here is the agenda that I'm working from today. It begins with Mount Shasta Wilderness, and it's in both blogs. And I sent it out a week ago on Monday or Sunday, the 1st of February or the 2nd of February, for your feedback and seasoning and thinking. And thank you for the ideas that you shared leading up to today, which I'll further include as we proceed. All the best, abolitionally, a best Steam, Creative Commons licensed, open courseware, wiki, World Uni and SCH, WUS abolition movement is growing to protect people. And read more about this in the blog post in my blog, beginning Lotus Kamala Padma, scott-macleod.blogspot.com, 2025, from July, Lotus Kamala Padma. And in WUS, seeking to code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet to facilitate free wiki universal education. So seeking first to code for speakers from all 7,159 known living languages, and then from there to potentially code for all 7.9 billion people on the planet, and to end poverty worldwide. Yogically friendly NTF, NTQ, Quaker greetings, Scott. I'm the founder, the president, the CEO, and I'm a professor as well as the presiding and recording clerk, loosely in the manner of unprogrammed NTF Friends Quakers of World University and School. The recording of today's WUS news and question and answer will be posted to the current main active YouTube channel for World University and School, youtube.com/at Scott World University /videos. So we'll focus a little bit today, as I posted on Twitter, X, and LinkedIn last week, how to view hashtag G Street View in a hashtag smart meeting room video, and for a hashtag realistic virtual earth for synthetic biology, hashtag HTGAA 2026. So the first wing of World University and School, the first of two WUS wings, a 501c3 or similar nonprofit. See more about this in the GuideStar profile for World University and School, which I also just recently updated. guidestar.org/profile/27-3106368 is the World University and School GuideStar profile, candid GuideStar profile for CC licensed best Steam open courseware wiki World University and School wing. And again, that beginning webpage is worlduniversityandschool.org. Agenda item 0, the video minutes for January 26, 2026, recording of World University and School and WS Press, WS News and Question and Answer, regarding also the hashtag langs of Wikipedias. To all 200 hashtag WUS univs, and using has the video recording as video minutes are up, and see also for the agenda and news for that January 26, 2026, the blog posts that begin Livingston Range Glacier National Park, Montana. So, agenda item 1. In what ways could World University and School facilitate a physical digital, hashtag HTGAA, virtual node. So a laboratory, potentially in a WUS laboratory multimedia room or hospital multimedia room, that could become a virtual node for committed students in the MIT and Harvard course, How to Grow Almost Anything, synthetic biology course for registered Harvard and MIT students, and also for committed listeners and global listeners, of which I was one in the spring of 2025. How could World University and School develop a HTGAA virtual node? So students from around the world could do lab experiments virtually from home and not only go into the 15 physical wet labs that this course has developed this year in 2026 for committed listeners around the world, such as in Tokyo and in Seoul and in San Francisco. So hashtag HTGAA virtual node in shop, in hashtag Canyon 94516, in hashtag WUS multimedia hospital room, in HTGAA physically, and both physically and digitally. So start with a physical digital in the shop in Canyon, HTGAA node that is being designed to become a virtual node. And potentially also for a few initial actual WUAS matriculated students too. So a set of Twitter posts about this. How best at World University and School, that Twitter feed, building on MIT OpenCourseWare in 7 languages to develop a realistic virtual Earth for synthetic biology, a realistic virtual Earth for experiments, as a physical digital HTGAA virtual node in the shop, in hashtag Canyon 94516, in hashtag WUS Multimedia Hospital Room, such that hashtag WUAS students could participate. And this retweets David Sun Kong, PhD's Twitter post. He's a director in the MIT Media Lab. For our Media Lab synthetic biology course, How to Grow Almost Anything 2026, we are proud to collaborate with 15 global nodes where students can participate alongside our at MIT, at Harvard, at Wellesley students. We are excited to highlight in this thread the following global nodes. So also an extended application deadline for HTGAA 2026, another Twitter post. Read more about this in my blog, in the blog post beginning Euglossini Orchid Bee from January of 2026 in scott-macleod.blogspot.com, Euglossini Orchid Bee. Agenda item 2. Before I proceed, just check to see if people are seeking to join this with your answers or questions. Agenda item 2. Life Biosciences ER100 gene, an OSK drug, OSKM drug, genetic drug, relating to Yamanaka factors, is the first clinical trial for an OSKM drug. So the ER100 gene therapy from Life Biosciences in, I think, Cambridge, Massachusetts, is the first, is going through a first clinical trial for an OSKM drug, which has an estimated time of finishing the clinical trial of 2032. Life Biosciences ER100 is recognized as the first in-human clinical trial for a partial epigenetic reprogramming therapy using OSK factors to address age-related diseases. The FDA cleared the IND application in January 2026 for this phase 1 trial, which targets vision loss in patients with optic neuropathies. So I created a set of Twitter posts about this. Huge development. First clinical trial for ER100 regarding OSKM gene drug therapies and epigenetic reprogramming, and regarding open angle glaucoma. And the clinicaltrials.gov web page for this. How best at World University and School to develop related pharmaceuticals in hashtag realistic virtual earth and a hashtag realistic virtual earth for clinical trials. And as World University and School also seeks to develop related pharmaceuticals in a realistic virtual earth, and a realistic virtual earth for clinical trials, and a realistic virtual earth for ophthalmology. And see the articles on Life Biosciences announces FDA clearance of IND application for ER100 in optic neuropathies. More about this also in the blog post beginning Euglossini Orchid Bee from January 2026 in my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot.com. Agenda item 3. NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya talks replication crisis at Duke University panel. So very excited at World University and School for a realistic virtual earth for scientific replication of experiments. Hashtag text in the sidebar as next steps. And regarding a realistic virtual earth, see the article from Peter Norvig, Revolutionizing Education with Machine Learning and AI, World University in School, in the toolify.ai webpage, which mentions a realistic virtual earth for the first time other than World University in School. So a set of Twitter posts in these regards. Very excited at World University in School for realistic virtual earth for scientific replication. Text in the sidebar as next steps. And regarding a realistic virtual earth, see the Toolify AI article. NIH Director Jay Bhattacharya, MD, PhD, talks replication crisis at Duke panel with a Duke Chronicle article about this. And see also agenda item 4C in the blog post and news and agenda for World University and School's weekly business meeting beginning Lewis Range Glacier National Park, Montana. And this retweets Twitter post from Jay Bhattacharya, the NIH director, where he says, fostering the next generation of human health scientists is truly one of my favorite aspects as serving as NIH director. It was my pleasure to meet last week with this year's class of participants from the NIH Medical Research Scholars Program. MRSP is a year-long research immersion program for future clinician scientists that advances health by inspiring careers in biomedical research. And see the nih.gov article or webpage about this. So the replication crisis at Duke University that the Duke Chronicle article is about, it has to do with, it seems, professors seeking possibly prestige and researchers and postdocs and PhD students seeking prestige over doing good science, where the experiments and scientific papers they produce and create are replicable, which is a key hallmark of science. Replication is a fundamental aspect of the scientific method. And see again also item 4C in the blog post beginning Lewis Range Glacier National Park, Montana, in both blogs from January of 2026, World University and School.blogspot.com and scott-macleod.blogspot.com's blogs. Agenda item 4. Excited at World University and School to potentially add to a realistic virtual earth Researchers are using AI to hashtag decode the human genome. Hashtag alpha genome is a leap forward in the ability to study the human blueprint. But the fine workings of our DNA are still largely a mystery. This is a New York Times article from January 28th, 2026, focusing on the alpha genome, and AI platform from DeepMind, and is a great overview of how aspects of these genetics and how the human genome can be studied with AI and computer science as well. So the article from the New York Times is researchers are using AI to decode the human genome. Alpha genome is a leap forward in the ability to study the human blueprint, but the fine workings of our DNA are still largely a mystery. And read more about this in my blog post beginning Renanthera imscutiana, red vanda, in January of 2026, scott-macleod.blogspot.com. Renanthera imscutiana, red vanda. Agenda item 5. In what ways could we construe this hashtag social media and society biennial conference as having a key focus on the hashtag network society, per Professor Manuel Castells, who was at UC Berkeley for about 23 years, and regarding my upcoming hashtag Society, Infotech, and the Global University book, to be published by the academic press at World University and School, and regarding the social media and society.org 2026 biennial conference this year in the University of Glasgow. Come on to Bonnie Glasgow. And hashtag SM Society from July 13th to July 15th, 2026. Society here is a fascinating concept in the information age. This will be a focus of the paper I hope to give, which will also be the 9th chapter of my upcoming Society, Information Technology, and the Global University book. Agenda item 6. In what ways could the state of California be developing its nonprofit corporation CA public benefit information technology platform further, and regarding World University and School as a California exempt organization, and see the tax ID number at the bottom of worlduniversityandschool.org. And as World University and School is also on our second wing, the WUaS Corporation wing, the WUaS Educational Services Stores, the WUaS Academic Press, planned in 7,159 known living languages, and even with a Pi cryptocurrency partnering email, as we plan to code for 7.9 billion people on the planet. In what ways could the state of California be developing its IT platform for the nonprofit corporation California Public Benefit side, where World University and School, the WUaS Corporation, is also a state of California legal entity and a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, and see the tax ID number at the bottom of worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. And where also third legal entity, World University and School, is a 501c3 U.S. federal tax-exempt legal entity too, and see the candid guidestar.org profile for World University and School, and that number and that profile at the bottom of recently updated worlduniversityandschool.org website. So I haven't filed yet the statement of information for the nonprofit corporation California Public Benefit legal entity that World University and School is on the worlduniversityandschool.org side. The other two statements of information in N990s and similar cards to be filed annually for the WUaS Corporation in the state of California, a for-profit general stock company, a legal entity, and the 501c3 U.S. federal tax exempt entity for the first wing, World University and School, have been accepted by their agencies after I filed them earlier this 2026. So waiting for, I think, the state of California to further develop its IT and AI and machine learning platforms in technology infrastructures for the California exempt organizations, taking into account that World University and School also is a for-profit general stock company in the WUaS Corporation in the state of California. I think this will maybe be an involved coding process for the state of California. And as the first exempt California legal entity works with World University and School as a federal tax exempt legal entity too. So in the past, it's been much easier than this year to file the World University and School Nonprofit Corporation California Public Benefit Statement of Information directly with the state of California than this year so far. But I think World University and School has until April 30th, 2026. So about 2.5 months to file this further. So agenda item 7. I recently attended a Google Educator Group's GEG Ahmedabad in Northwest India. Based partly out of the or affiliated with the Rosary School in Ahmedabad, India, and it was a presentation on by Canva Design and Canva Education, which is an organization based with its headquarters in Sydney, Australia, and it helps educators make websites, as I understand it, and seeks to make that easy. And they have, so that's their Canva design side, and they also have a Canva education focus. And World University and School is curious whether in a Grow with Google WUaS program, we could work with Canva design and Canva education to start to develop perhaps World University and School in India's 22 scheduled languages for free WUaS degrees online from home. And where Google Australia has its headquarters in Sydney, Australia, as Canva Design and Canva Education have their headquarters in Sydney, Australia. And potentially also as Wiki Schools, World University and School Wiki Schools in all 424 languages of India per the ethnologue. And with the Indian government's help too, question mark? So in what ways could WUaS begin to code all 424 India languages, Wiki Schools, with Canva design and education, with the Indian government's help too? So the online session was titled From Canva, Ask Me Anything About Canva Presentations. on January 31st, Saturday, 2026 at 5:30 or 4:30 a.m. Pacific time, 1800 hours India time, which I sought to attend. It's a 12 and a half or 13 and a half hour difference between the west coast of the United States and India. And I was able to attend part of it. Here is the question I asked as I registered. Glad to have gotten the free FileZilla FTP and WYSIWYG CMonkey HTML editor working again, e.g. for editing and developing and creating worlduniversityandschool.org and scottmacleod.com further. How best to possibly use Canva and even these free web page coding tools together? So could World University and School develop worlduniversityandschool.org and scottmacleod.com with Canva tools? And then could I also update and develop these web pages with FileZilla FTP and WYSIWYG CMonkey HTML? But I think I gathered from the presentation that that's not feasible or something that I'm going to focus on, and would instead seek to see if World University and School could even work with Grow with Google WUS in the Grow with Google WUS program, potentially with Sundar Pichai and Google Australia, working with Canva design and Canva education to begin to develop India World University and School, possibly in 3 scheduled languages in India first, Hindi and Gujarati and Tamil, and potentially eventually in all 22 scheduled languages, maybe building out of the Canva platform, with Google Australia helping with that, with AI and machine learning too, and reached out to Sundar Pichai in some of these regards as well. So a set of Twitter posts further in these regards. Glad to be joining the 4th GK Ahmedabad AMA Canva presentation from India with Dr. Vishal Varia. How best can World University and School in a Grow with Google WES program build out newly updated worlduniversityandschool.org in all 22 scheduled languages in India for free WUS degrees and all 424 languages too, possibly for wiki schools, for people-to-people teaching, possibly for degrees if helpful. And sent an email to Vishal Varia and some other leaders in GEG, Ahmedabad, Aditi, Tejal, Deepti, Payal, as well as to Sundar Pichai, Peter Norvig, and Aisha Bansali, who went to school in Ahmedabad and Gujarat, India, but is in Australia for teaching physics and science to grades 1 through 5 via Beyond Box, which is her platform. I'm wondering if there could be a relationship between Google Educator Group's Ahmedabad and possibly Canva along the lines of investors or board of directors out of Ahmedabad and regarding Canva design and Canva education with its headquarters in Sydney, Australia. Check out the email to them. World University and School is seeking to develop with building on translated courses from MIT OpenCourseWare, and World University and School may be the ones with translation software to translate these courses further into all 22 scheduled languages in India. But it will be possibly Google Educator Groups and people like Aisha Bansali who might be developing each of these World University and Schools, say in the Gujarati language, with their knowledge of the educational systems in India that inform all 22 scheduled languages. So, and culture-wise especially. So how to build from MIT OpenCourseWare in its 7 languages, but for Indian students and, for example, Indian exams. And how can MIT OpenCourseWare could it be best adapted in the Hindi and Gujarati and Tamil languages, potentially Tamil language potentially for Sri Lanka too, Sinhalese as well, but that's not I think a scheduled, possibly not even a language in India, and in with Canva education. More about this in the blog post beginning Lotus Kamikulatus in my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot.com from January of 2026. Lotus corniculatus. Also in the blog post beginning Jade Vine Strongyloidin macrobitis in my blog from January of 2026. Agenda item 8. Restorative yoga class on Saturdays. And as we may live to 150 and well beyond, for Saturday, January 31st, 2026, around 8 a.m. Pacific time, here's a yoga meditation with Angela Farmer, living fully in our bodies. So in cross-legged pose, perhaps we could begin to explore a little restorative yoga right now. In cross-legged pose or on a chair, beginning around the 35-minute mark of this Angela Farmer video until about the 42-minute mark, begin to explore these restorative yoga poses and click on the CC button on YouTube to access closed captioning if helpful to hear or read better. More about this in the blog post beginning Jade Vine Strongyloidin macrobitis. Agenda item 9. The collaboration between Quakers in Scotland, where I became a member of the Religious Society of Friends, RSOF, in Edinburgh Central Quaker Meeting in 2004, and World University and School for British Isles, World University and Schools. So, for example, in England and Scotland and Wales and Ireland and other British Isles, related possible languages like Celtic languages like Manx and Cornish, Scots Gaelic and the Scots language, Irish Gaelic, for example. So a set of Twitter posts about this. Quakers in Scotland, QIS, is the new charity legal entity that is able to take on the legal, charity, and regulatory responsibilities of our Quaker organization in Scotland. And that website is quakerscotland.org/QIS. QIS acts on behalf of Britain yearly meeting in procedures required by the Scottish Parliament. So how might hashtag friendly informed World University and School, hashtag Scotland WUAS, hashtag Britain WUAS work with Quakers in Scotland, QIS, regarding legal, charity, and regulatory responsibilities of our Quaker organization in Scotland, quakerscotland.org/QIS, and regarding Britain yearly meeting, regarding hashtag Scotland Parliament. Could World University and School work with Quakers in Scotland to start Scotland World University and School and get reimbursement from possibly the Scottish Parliament for free online degrees as we matriculate Scots, studying potentially first in English, but possibly also in Scottish Gaelic and the Scots language even for free online degrees and regarding wiki schools too. This is something I've reached out to contacts for Quakers in Scotland. Jane Booth, who's the administrator at admin@quaker.scot, and Michael Hutchinson, and others. So more about this in blog post beginning Fritillaria, Meleagris, How Might, and in my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot.com from February of 2026. Agenda item 10. So this is regarding seeking a folding bike that might even fit in a suitcase for travel on an airplane and on top of a future incredible Toyota Sienna Woodland van with a possible origami shower toilet, #origami shower toilet, and even for World University and School to travel to regions around the world and all 7 continents of 7,159 known languages to #teach WUAS and with #WUAS Universal Translator. So in what ways could World University and School begin to teach WUAS, traveling to all regions in the world with 7,159 known living languages, and possibly with a Bike Friday World Tourist folding bike out of Eugene, Oregon, such that, for example, World University and School teachers could fly into a country, rent a Toyota Sienna Woodland van from an airport, for example, and travel around the country, teaching about World University and School. Will a 2028 Toyota Sienna Woodland van have an origami shower, a fold-up shower in the back of a Toyota Sienna Woodland van with a basin below it that fits in the luggage area, where one could sit on a meditation bench and take a shower from a 2-gallon hot water heater that one could refill? And could that meditation bench also be a toilet? And could it have below the basin that has a drain in it, and there's a drain hole also in the luggage area, release into a gray water tank and a black water tank? And could even Toyota engineer this for electrical and plumbing in such a way that it became very useful for possibly World University and School's faculty members, World University and School students, for renters, from car rental places who are interested in mini camper vans around the world, for even uniformed services and many other parties. Interesting travel opportunity to share about World University and School further. And as World University and School sought to teach World University WUS in all 7,159 languages, could such World University and School teachers also add photos and videos and #text in the sidebar to Google Street View with a time slider on these trips, again, to teach WUS, and even to develop rural hospitals and free WUAS medical schools in the back of Toyota ambulance vans and Toyota teaching hospital buses, and in the US especially, but also all 200 countries and regions where all 7,159 known living languages are spoken. Stay tuned. I'm hopeful that Toyota Sienna Woodland vans will come with a Toyota fabricated origami shower toilet in 2028 or some year soon thereafter. And that World University and School can start reaching out to speakers of all 7,159 known living languages, possibly by traveling to these regions. Agenda item 11. This is a question regarding building a realistic virtual Earth for history, for example, and regarding also the 1960s and 70s and the freedom-seeking movements of those decades, and potentially, for example, a Grateful Dead show, rock and roll band. So how to build out this August 24th, 1972 hashtag GD show in a hashtag realistic virtual Earth, hashtag for rock and roll, hashtag for history, in hashtag G Street View with hashtag time slider, hashtag Grateful Dead 1972. I asked this of Gemini AI and got an incredible response. Also, it became something of a docent as I was driving through Berkeley and took me to the Berkeley Community Theater, which is part of the Berkeley High School, and was then in 1972 too. And wonder further, well, a set of Twitter posts first on this. How to build out this 8/24/72 hashtag GD show in hashtag realistic virtual Earth, hashtag for rock and roll, hashtag for history, in hashtag G Street View with hashtag G time slider, hashtag in Berkeley. So I found a video on YouTube for this, but without video yet. And I'm seeking video. I would love to see people dancing and the Grateful Dead band members playing. So both in the Berkeley Community Theater at 1930 Alston Way in Berkeley and around it, so in the park in front of it, how to build this out. And Gemini AI responded in an incredible way. Gemini AI says, reconstructing that night in Berkeley is an incredible concept. Combining the Grateful Dead's performance with Fei Li's spatial intelligence theories and Google AI tools creates a bridge between historical preservation and immersive world building. To get started, you can think of this as building a spatial memory of the venue and that surrounding streets. 1, reconstructing the external environment. Since Google Street View primarily shows modern day Berkeley, you would use it as a geometric baseline. Use the current 3D data from Google Maps to get the bones of the Berkeley Community Theater and the surrounding blocks. Historical overlay. You would then use Google AI Studio with historical photography from 1972 to reskin the modern buildings. You can feed archival photos into a generative model like Imagen or Veo to predict what the textures and storefronts looked like based on the fashion and architecture of the early 70s. Spatial intelligence. This is where Fei Li's work at World Labs comes in. Her Marble platform is designed to turn images and text into persistent 3D worlds. You could prompt the system with descriptions of the hippie atmosphere, the types of cars parked on Alston Way, and the specific lighting of a Berkeley summer evening to generate a navigable 4D environment. 2, reconstructing the interior, the concert. The YouTube video from that night is your primary source for the inside of the bubble. 4D scene reconstruction. You can use tools like D4RT, dynamic 4D reconstruction from Google DeepMind. Gaussian splatting, a modern technique often used in Fei Li's spatial intelligence context, involves taking the video frames and turning them into splats, basically 3D clouds of light and color. Acoustic modeling. To make it truly n-dimensional, you would map the audio from the 8/24/72 soundboard tapes to the 3D model, allowing the sound to change based on where you are standing in your virtual theater. Practical first steps. gather the data, map the geography, prompt the AI. Would you like me to find specific archival photo collections of the Berkeley Community Theater from the early 70s to help with the visual reconstruction? I further asked Gemini AI about how to create the people and with avatars and animate such a YouTube video with people in it and make them interactive with AI brains and regarding Pegman and regarding collaborative spaces. And first practical steps, isolate the characters, define personas, sync to audio. So incredible responses from Gemini. And I wonder further, and you can read more about this in the blog post beginning Fritillaria Meleagris How Might in my blog from February of 2026, scott-macleod.blogspot.com. So I wonder further how World University and School students and people interested in these projects and coders and computer scientists could further build out on, say, that night or that year of 1972, August 24, 1972, the 5 blocks up to the UC Berkeley campus, such that avatars could walk up to the UC Berkeley campus after the concert. And further, I wonder how, even at the same time, how coders and creators of this realistic virtual Earth for history for rock and roll from 1972 could build a realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs in 1972, which is the year that Harbin currently became in its present form when Ishvara Bob Hartley got the property and with Ishvara and Bob Hartley still around at age 93 or so, it would be fascinating to be able to travel from the Grateful Dead concert on August 24th, 1972, possibly after it, up to Harbin Hot Springs, Northeast, 2 hours after the concert. Maybe people even did this, and maybe we could find records of people traveling from this Grateful Dead concert up to Harbin Hot Springs on August 24th, 1972, to soak in the pools and begin to grow 1972 in a very interesting time period regarding a realistic virtual Earth for history, a realistic virtual Earth for even counterculture, if you will, and also potentially using a new method and theory I'm calling ethno-wiki virtual world graphy, where all of us could add ethnographic resources, interpretation of peoples, wiki-wise, fast, to a virtual world in an iterative way. So could we find photos from California State Archives from 1972 of both this concert and Harbin Hot Springs and begin to build out a realistic virtual Harbin Hot Springs from August 24th, 1972 as well? Stay tuned. Work in progress. So moving to the other wing, the WUaS Corporation, a second of 2 WUS wings, a for-profit general stock company legal entity in the state of California, the WS Press, academic press in 7,159 languages with machine learning. That URL, beginning URL is worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html. Agenda item A, WS Corporation partnering email with Stanford MindPi cryptocurrency. A couple of blog posts in these regards from past years, from March of 2023. Set of Twitter posts, Twitter X posts. How best at WS Press at World University and School by distributing Pi cryptocurrency free money daily from mindpi.com/SGKMAC. Hashtag Pi WUAS partnering email with hashtag WUAS free best education to specific countries could hashtag WUAS UNIVS, hashtag end poverty, e.g. in hashtag China WUAS, hashtag India WUAS, hashtag Scotland WUAS, hashtag Pakistan WUAS. So how could World University and School, as Pi cryptocurrency develops coding-wise, focus on making Pi available in these countries, for example, and combining them with free best education and in those countries' languages, as well as to end poverty? This is a focus of World University and School. So partnering emails with Pi regarding Pi cryptocurrency, one from November of 2023, Dahlia Acuchoti, Mexico National Flower, in my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot. Another, you can read these about this partnering emails with Pi cryptocurrency in another blog post from June of 2025 in my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot.com. American burying beetle microphorus. Another one in World University and School.blogspot.com's blog from March of 2023. Stanford Mine Pi WUAS Corporation. That blog post begins. And the same blog in my blog begins Purple Sunbird, Stanford Mine Pi WUAS. scott-macleod.blogspot.com from 2023 from March. Read more further about this in a blog post from January of 2026, beginning Daucus Carota. Agenda item B. In what major retail stores in the US can I buy things with Stanford Mine Pi cryptocurrency, or will I be able to buy things with my Mine Pi cryptocurrency? AI Overview or Gemini AI responds, as of early 2026, major retailers like Walmart, Amazon, or Target do not directly accept Pi cryptocurrency at their registers. Because Pi is still primarily traded with its own, quote, enclosed mainnet ecosystem, it hasn't yet been integrated into mainstream payment processors used by big box stores. However, there are a few ways you can use it or may be able to in the future. Local and niche merchants. Thousands of smaller independent businesses, including some car dealerships and real estate firms in places like Florida, have started accepting Pi directly. You can often find these using the map of Pi or similar community-driven directories in the Pi browser. Pi marketplaces. You can buy physical goods and electronics through community platforms like Pi Chain Mail or other apps within the Pi ecosystem. The gift card workaround. While you can't tap your Pi wallet at a Starbucks or Subway restaurant, some third-party services allow you to swap crypto for gift cards. This is currently the most common way to spend crypto at major retailers. For the future, the Pi core team is pushing for more mainnet commerce events to encourage businesses to sign up. Once the network moves fully to an open mainnet and reaches wider exchange listings, it's possible we'll see more automated payment options. Would you like me to help you find a community marketplace or look for local businesses in your area that might be listed on the Pi map? And that was a very helpful response from AI Overview, I think. You can get Pi cryptocurrency free money daily using this invitation code, SGKMAC. Download the app from mindpi.com and add SGKMAC as you get your own Pi app and start to mine Pi daily, getting a few coins every day, taking less than 5 seconds to click on 2 buttons. Again, every 24 hours, free money daily. Read more about this in the blog post beginning Uguasini Orchid Bee from my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot.com in January of 2026. And to close, agenda item C on the WUS corporation side, Senator Elizabeth Warren. Will or might the possibly new incoming U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman, Kevin Warsh, with Stanford and Harvard law degrees, be able to bring Stanford MinePi cryptocurrency, such as mindpi.com/SGKMAC, free money daily, as a main worldwide cryptocurrency free money daily, and to end poverty worldwide, and in WUS seeking to code for almost all 7.9 billion people on the planet from U at World University. And that URL is wiki.worlduniversityandschool.org/wiki/U at World University. So I asked this in this weekly business meeting for February 9th, 2026 of U.S. Senator and former Harvard law professor Elizabeth Warren with her focus on banking, and wondering how, if Kevin Warsh becomes the new Federal Reserve Chairman, whether Pi cryptocurrency could become more widespread and even a main single cryptocurrency worldwide to potentially end poverty. Have seen a few posts from Senator Elizabeth Warren on Twitter X regarding Kevin Warsh in the past week. Stay tuned and read more about this in the blog post beginning Jade, Vine, Strongy Loden, Macrobiotis, Buttress in my blog, scott-macleod.blogspot.com from January of 2026. So that's the WUS news and question and answer on Monday, February 9th, 2026. And I'll post the recording of this to the 2 blog posts for today, which are begin Mount Whitney on 2/9/26, and also to the 2 main Twitter X feeds, twitter.com/WORLDUNIVANDSCH and twitter.com/WUAS Press, as well as to the YouTube channels and LinkedIn. If you have questions or know of prospective students who might seek to matriculate at World University and School online from home from any of 200 countries, let me know, please, at president@worlduniversityandschool.org. And until next week, Monday, February 16th, 2026 at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10:30 p.m. India time. See you soon, and looking forward to further communication in the course of this week in any variety of means on social media, via email, or similar. Until soon. worlduniversityandschool.org is our recently updated homepage, and worlduniversityandschool.org/academicpress.html will be updated soon. That's currently the beginning webpage for the WUS Corporation, the WUS Educational Services Stores, and the Academic Press. Until soon. Bye. Bye for now.